Hi, my name is Allison D. I'm a first-year student in the Advanced Certificate of Sustainability program. This program was just made into a full master's, so I'm sort of deciding whether or not I want to stick with just a certificate or go for the full master's. So that's me. That's where I'm at. For this project on the Sustainable Development Goals, I was given goal number 14, which is life below water. And the aim of this goal is to conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. So you might be wondering, why did the UN choose to make this a goal? What's happening and why is it important? So from the graphic, you can see that over 2/3 of Earth's surface is comprised of ocean water. That's a lot, and all life on Earth depends on this water. More than half of the oxygen we breathe is made from these oceans. The ocean helps to absorb atmospheric heat, as well as more than 1/4 of man-made CO2, which we happen to produce a lot of. Some things that happen with the ocean are acidification, climate change, meaning rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and coastal erosion. Some things that we do to amplify this are overfishing, pollution, and habitat degradation. Some of the pollutants that we can put into the oceans include sewage and nutrient runoff, which can lead to things like coastal eutrophication, poor water quality, and impaired coastal ecosystems. So if we are hurting these ecosystems, it hurts coastal economies, tourism, fisheries. If there's not enough fish, people won't be fed and there will be a food shortage, which can also hurt the economy. So you can see that it's really important to keep these protected and keep them healthy and functioning. So ocean acidification is something that happens naturally within the oceans. Uptake of atmospheric CO2 changes the chemical composition of seawater and alters its carbonate chemicals, resulting in a decrease of pH, which is increasing the acidification. This can threaten organisms and ecosystem services, which can threaten food security by endangering fisheries and aquacultures. So some of the facts that the UN provides are that increased acidity decreases CO2 absorption, which a lot of marine creatures use to survive. And unfortunately, ocean acidification is expected to rapidly increase by 100 to 150% by 2100. So that's just one reason that the UN uses to sort of back up why this is one of their goals. Another is that the biologically sustainable fish levels of fish stock have actually decreased from 90% in 1974 to 67% in 2015. So that's quite a big decrease in how sustainably we can retrieve these fish, use them to feed the populations, and all of that. And with population expecting to rise in the near future, it's really, really important that these are at a sustainable, stabilized level. So that's just another reason why the UN uses this to back up their goals. So some of the targets that the UN goes over include preventing and reducing marine pollution by 2025, regulating harvesting and ending overfishing, illegal and unregulated fishing by 2020, and addressing and decreasing the impacts of ocean acidification through science at all levels. Some other targets that they aim to reach are conserving 10% of coastal and marine areas by 2020, and making laws, both national and international, based solely on science. So a case study by Sala et al. In 2018 was assessing the real progress that's being made towards effective ocean protection. They found that there's currently only 3.6% of marine protected areas, also known as MPAs, but these areas are an overestimate. So that 3.6% is already an overestimate of what's there, because this includes areas that are not yet protected, or where extractive processes can occur. So there's really, countries and states can report that there are announcements of an intent to create an MPA or the designation of an MPA, but there's no actual on-the-water protection. And they can also report that areas are protected even though they're still extracting things that can affect marine biodiversity. So this case study is just really hitting home that there needs to be greater standards set when countries and states are reporting these areas that are fully protected, because seeing from before how important these ocean processes are, it's worth it. Lastly, a lot of the goals that the UN describes are necessary and can be used in conjunction with goal number 14, life below water. Life on land, the actions that we have and our habitat degradation and everything like that can all lead to the ocean. So if we're destroying habitats, creating landslides, all of those nutrients and debris is running off into the ocean. Quality education is necessary. Just your basics of understanding ecosystems and how things work and how everything is connected is essential for support, because you need support from your average citizen too, to push these goals into motion. And also affordable and clean energy, clean water and sanitation, responsible consumption and production all relate to this, because if we're putting noxious gases into the atmosphere, that's going to come down eventually into the oceans. Responsible consumption and production. If we're just throwing away our plastic on the ground, run off into the ocean, debris in the ocean, it's affecting marine life. Lastly, clean water and sanitation. If we do not protect our local waterways, all of that water eventually runs off into the ocean. So it's important to protect locally to lead to global protection of our shared resources. These are my sources that I use for the case study, which is this first one, and the last two are just information on these Sustainable Development Goals. Thank you.